compelling question, what was the experience of the Middle Passage like? I'm going to show you how I go about thinking about this source using these skills of sourcing. So I'm going to be thinking about who wrote this, when was it written, and do I trust what this person is about to tell me? And I need to come up with an argument of why or why not I trust them. So I'm going to start by reading the title. It's an account of the slave trade on the coast of Africa, and it's from the year 1788. So first looking at the title, I know this is going to be one person's side. It's their account of the Middle Passage in 1788. I know that the Middle Passage was still happening in 1788, so I know it's written at the time. It's by this guy, Alexander Falconbridge. Anyone heard of him?
No.
I haven't either, so I need more information about who he is. And so I see that there's a source note. I'm going to read this source note and add in a couple of annotations. So it says, Alexander Falconbridge served as a doctor. Circle the word doctor. Knowing his job helps me to first know that he's pretty qualified, but I also know he's on the slave ship, but he's not a slave. Then I'm going to keep reading. He was on the British slave ships. Underline that, and above it, write Middle Passage. I'm doing that because I want to remember that this is specifically talking about the Middle Passage. Then I see it's also during the 1780s. Wait a second. That's the same time as this year up here. So he was on the slave ship during this time period, and he wrote it down during the time period. Already, I'm starting to trust him because he was there, and it's during the time period. Let's keep reading and see what else we can find out about Falconbridge. He later wrote a book about his experiences. Circle the word book. That helps me to know he actually wrote it down, and it has still survived all of this time because it's in a book. Then, the book became popular among people who fought against slavery. Circle or underline people who fought against slavery. If it was popular among these people, that must mean that they agreed with what he said. So before I even start reading, I know that he's probably going to give us a lot of reasons about why slavery was bad, and specifically about the experience on the Middle Passage. So these are excerpts from his book. So already, just in this first bit, I know he's probably going to say stuff that's bad about slavery. He is a doctor, so I can trust him because of his profession. He also was there. He wrote it down in the time period. The only thing is that he wasn't a slave himself. He was a doctor on the ship. Now that's kind of helpful because at least if he talks about, for example, the diseases, he's qualified and knows what he's talking about. Let's go ahead and start reading. Can I have a volunteer to read this first paragraph? Thank you, Gianna. As she reads, we're going to be looking for answers to our compelling question, what was the experience of the Middle Passage like? So I'm looking for any sort of details that talks about the experience. Go ahead and start reading.
The American men were strapped together as soon as